Hello friends, this is Christian Wiese. Today I wanted to talk about the conjecture that there is never a dull moment. Let me start with an observation. A friend complained that whenever she watches soap operas, her energy level, spiritual energy level deteriorates. So she decided she would stop doing that and would meditate instead. And first, when I heard the description of her problem statement, I came to the opposite conclusion, namely saying, at least that's something that I've observed in me, that the time when you watch the soap opera is not the time when your energy level deteriorates. What in fact happens is the energy level first drops, and then we have the desire to watch a soap opera. And what happens in my case often when I watch television, say I watch a movie or something like that, often it turns out to be quite an interesting movie, and it engages me and often gives me even answers to questions that I have. But then when I thought about her specific case, it actually turns out she's spiritually quite advanced, and especially in meditation, quite a master. So when she meditates, it's not like the novices do. The novices always try to crowd out the thoughts and the feelings that are rushing in. Instead, what she would do is she would be open to them, would engage with them, and then would let them pass. So from that perspective, she indeed, with meditation, deals with the inner lack of spiritual energy that she experiences. And that's really the title of the presentation, that often we do have dull moments. Often we feel pain, and then we watch Eckhart Tolle and want to know, how can we be like him, always be happy, and how can we without pain? But there's a problem here. The problem is that the I, what we perceive as us, is having a dull moment, and by grasping at spirituality, we actually run away from the opportunities that we have to let that dull moment speak to us. It is indeed true that when we're able to face whatever it is that bothers us and let it pass through us, that then world turns out to be quite exciting. When I meditate, and when I'm on, not always, but sometimes I am, I perceive no thoughts. And it's actually weirder than that. The entire I experience just disappears. It's just like watching an empty screen. I have feelings, but those feelings don't change. It's kind of a steady pleasantness. So the word feeling doesn't really apply, because feelings implies that sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down. Whereas this is just an ongoing, I wouldn't call it bliss as many people do, but just one ongoing pleasantness. Same when I'm driving, sometimes I just disappear. The I literally disappears. All there is a screen of, here in the US on the highways, they're a little bit more pleasurable than the crowded European highways. So all I see is the trees going by, and there in a sense is no driver. Everything is just one. Same often when I'm in nature, and I'm sure you all have those experiences. So that's what I would call the awareness that, in a sense, when present, just gets rid of the I experience altogether. That's something that we often have access to, and as a matter of fact, this is our natural state. All we have to do is return to the state. But if we want to return to the state, then there's a problem, because there's an I that wants, and the I cannot return to a state which does not include the I. So I found this quote from Rupert Spira, which I thought was beautiful. It's more general than just discussing boredom. It also discusses pain. So let me read it. I may have to read it twice. He is quite deep. If we want to learn to live without suffering, we first have to learn to live with it. When suffering is welcomed so completely that there is not the slightest resistance to it, what we were seeking by trying to get rid of it is revealed at its heart. Now that really gives you the recipe how to get out of the dull moment. I would say whenever the dull moment hits you or the pain hits you, whatever it is that you want to get rid of, there are three possibilities, and as a matter of fact there are only two, but let me tell you how to get to the two. So number one is engage with the energy, and that may include watching a soap opera. Number two is just sit with it without doing anything, like sitting on the fence. Neither for it, neither against it, just sitting with it. And number three is the realization that this is just an illusion, a bubble that bubbles to the surface and disappears. Now the masters, in a sense, don't have that third state. They have either they engage with it or they look through the illusion. Whereas for the rest of us, there often is that third state where you just say, let's sit with it. And that may be a soul-searching process that lasts a week or a few days or a month or 2 months. But eventually, when we truly sit with an issue, when we just deal with it, when we engage, there is always either the human solution, just deal with it, or the spiritual solution, let it pass, it's not real. The mistake that I think our teachers are making is that they always go for it's just an illusion. Well, you are human just like I'm human. You have some human issues to deal with. So sometimes engaging with the energy is just what the doctor orders. You have to go through it in order to reach that awareness state where the I doesn't exist. So never a dull moment. Well, I remember when our boys were younger, they often said, "Oh, Papa, I'm bored." And I always said, well, be bored. Let's see what happens. Often we ended up playing sports or something like that. So that's, I guess, how boys deal with nervous energy. But normally what happens is, or what happens to me is, I may just wander around and find a book I haven't seen in a long time and just, browse it. Or I sit with it and realize a problem statement, and I'm able to look through it. So the dull moment is only a dull moment until the moment when we engage with it. And then after that, there is never a dull moment. All right, I hope you found that presentation helpful. Until next time, bye.